Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the JayBee Milly channel. I am JB and today I'm going to be covering a little bit of old news, although I guess this isn't really news, this is more something that I have to say about this situation. So I guess if you're watching this, chances are you've been seeing or you're aware of the best of 100 Scooby-Doo 10 film collection set, which of course is to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers. So I think it's been debated online and people have come to the conclusion that this collection is poor, or maybe that's a bit harsh. I think mediocre at best is the right word. So I'm just going to go over and break down exactly what's in this collection, and even though it's been done to death, I'm not going to be able to include any ways that I would correct this set, although if that is a video that you guys do want to see, I will definitely make sure to do that. So if you want me to do, top 10 what I would choose, or maybe get a few collaborations in on this, then comment that down below and see which ones, or if you've got your own idea of what you would want to see in this collection instead of this set, then please comment that down below as well, because it's going to be really interesting to see everyone's take on this. So first up we have Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog straight out of nowhere. I think this is a bit of a bizarre inclusion. I don't hate it. I think it's pretty good value for money, to be honest, because you got to factor in it's only 2 DTVs ago, because of course we had the Courage movie and then Trick or Treat. And so I guess by doing a really recent one, it almost adds value to the set, as far as if you don't have this, or if you weren't really a Courage fan and you're waiting for an excuse to watch it, I guess if there's one that you want on DVD in this set, it's a really good way of letting people know about the movie on that way. So from a marketing perspective, I actually like the Courage movie's inclusion in this. I kind of just wish that they'd put in a bit more legwork beforehand to promote the movie, but I don't hate this at all. I do think that for a collection like this, it's maybe wiser to do some other legacy movies before, but again, probably this is the one that I would agree with the most in many ways. Not that it's the top 10 Scooby-Doo movies, in my opinion. I mean, it may be, I haven't really, sat down to check, but in terms of it being on here, I'm okay with that. Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo is a bit weird again. I don't know why it's on there. I think it's a perfectly good Halloween flick, but it's very exclusive to Halloween. So with a set like this, I think it's a given that people buying it will probably already have the movies. So I think it's a bit weird, because you'd assume that if someone is in the mood to watch a Halloween movie, it's going to be about Halloween, and so maybe someone won't be travelling. But an upside to this is simply it's a more portable way to carry around 10 Scooby-Doo DVDs, and so maybe if it's for a summer holiday or a vacation, spring break or whatever, if you're going to pack this with you to go somewhere, it's a little bit odd for them to include a Halloween movie in there, especially because none of the other ones here are that, way. So, I don't know. I mean, I would maybe say put Trick or Treat in there, because for all that is Halloween as well, it isn't marketed as such. I mean, it is a focal point in the movie, but it isn't marketed as, Halloween, although I guess, yeah, Halloween, Trick or Treat, hand in hand. So, maybe I'd choose another movie entirely to take this spot. And then Sword and the Scoob, again, very, very recent. A part of me, the cynical part of me, is almost kind of like, I know that a lot of the people that worked on at least this movie, or when this movie was produced, because of course people that have been in this scene for a while know that it's been delayed a lot. A lot of the people working on here are still employed at Warner Brothers, so they weren't affected during the merger. A cynical part of me is almost thinking maybe they've put in or prioritized things from that recent era just to boost people's, not residuals, but almost to boost their stock. Maybe they do get a share because, it's their work included. So I don't know, and again, Sword and the Scoob, it's not one of my favourite ones in hindsight, but I appreciate the UK representation, and if you are going to build up a collection like this, I think it's nice to almost get that What's New vibe, where it's globe-trotting and stuff. So again, I'm mad at this, but it's not one that I would choose. Now, Scoob is an interesting one, because I feel like to include it in the best, and also shelving Scoob Holiday Haunt is a bit disingenuous, but at the same time, we look at Scoob, Scooby-Doo 2, and Scooby-Doo. No matter what your thoughts on those 3 movies are, maybe you love them all, maybe you hate them all, maybe you love 2 but hate 1, or whatever the combination may be, I kind of want to give props to this set for including cinematic releases. So, of course, Scoob wasn't really displayed as a cinematic release in the end, but through no fault of its own, obviously, who could have predicted what was going to happen with the world at that time? And so if it wasn't for that, we all would have seen Scoob on the big screen. They would have had those popcorn fillers everywhere. Like, there would have been a big cinematic deal. Whether it did well or poorly, I don't know. But it was made for cinema. It had the budget of a cinema quality flick. And so the fact that they've included those three in here, I think is always going to be a bargain. So I'm kind of going to deal with all of them as a collective simply for that reason. I think having them all in here is just value. And I think that that can't be overstated. A part of me is kind of like, it annoys me a bit that Scooby-Doo 2 is above Scooby-Doo 1 because it's almost like, oh, I mean, it's not like in terms of what movie I prefer, but in terms of like, kind of like for like numerical order, I wish that that one was above there. But hey, maybe it's kind of buying into the fact that they want you to watch the second one first, but I don't know about that. And again, if this came to the UK, I'm almost sold on it just for the 2002 movie alone. So that's definitely something. Now, Curse of the 13th Ghost, I think, has no place on here. It's not the worst, it's far from my least favourite. I just think that's something that goes out of its way to try and retcon an old series, has no place in a celebration set that's meant to respect legacy. That's just my opinion. And it's not even that the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is my favourite series. I think it's actually one of the ones that I found least entertaining on rewatch. But I just don't think it sends the right message. But again, like, kind of what I was saying with The Sword and the Scoob, a lot of the people that worked on that movie are still doing stuff at Warner Brothers, so I don't know if part of it was ego, and that's something I want to kind of go into as well, that ego side of things. Like, I know that when people say, oh, your Marty Grabstein interview was the best one, I'm a little bit like, it's obviously something I've done, so I'm glad that people appreciate it, but a little ego is kind of like, oh, it kind of annoys me that I haven't topped that. So maybe Warner Brothers are a bit like, oh, if we just included, you know, the Zombie Island, Cyber Chase, those movies, it's almost like them admitting the same thing, which I don't think they want to do. So the Batman movie, inoffensive, didn't hate it, didn't love it, it's fine that it's there. Again, I'll reiterate what I said about The Sword and the Scoob for 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, that's all fine. And again, Return to Zombie Island, just replace that with the original Zombie Island, and I think this is elevated so much more. But again, how many times has that been, you know, collected in a set before? But overall, the main message that I want to go is, if you do have a bit of extra money, if there's one of these that you're waiting to kind of watch and you've not bought it physically, I do want to reiterate that if you do want the future of Scooby-Doo to be released on DVD, buying this set is probably the best way to do that, because I'm just scared that the future of Scooby-Doo is going to be, you know, just digital releases only on the new Max show. Like, I am just scared that they're going to move Scooby-Doo completely digitally, because imagine all the money they would save from not printing the DVDs, not giving them out as, like, you know, collaboration deals. I just think that it's cheaper for them. So this is really a pivotal time for us to, for us to show Warner Brothers that there is still a lot of people that are into physical media. So if you do have a bit of extra money, I don't know what this retails as. I expect it to be a decent amount, but honestly, it shouldn't be. But yeah, for me, I would definitely buy this just to kind of try and reinsure the future of physical releases for Scooby. So yeah, if you do want to see more, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.